Hola, estudiantes. Today we're going to be talking about definite articles. Now in English, that's just the word the. In Spanish, we actually have 4 different words for the word the, and they are called definite articles. That's just our grammar term. So first thing to know, articles must agree with their noun in gender and number. And at this point, you've already learned that nouns can either be masculine or feminine, and that is what we mean when we say gender. They also can be singular or plural. And that's what we're talking about when we say number. All right, so let's get into it. 4 different definite articles, and it all depends on that noun's gender and number. So if your noun is masculine and it's singular, we're going to use the word el. If your word is feminine and singular, we'll use the word la. Now, if we're going to make those things plural, instead of the pen, I'm going to say the pens. Then, if our word is masculine and we're making it plural, we'll change that el to los. But then if it's feminine and we're going to change it and make it plural, we'll change la to las. All right, so let's take a look at these 4 words here and try to decide which article we're using. So the word piso ends in an O. That tells us that it most likely is masculine. Also, there's no S there, so it's also singular. So then we look at our chart here, masculine and singular. It's going to be the word el. So el piso, the floor. Tijeras, that means scissors. It ends in AS, so that A tells us that it's feminine. That S tells us that it's plural. So if we look on our chart, feminine and plural, put those together, las tijeras. Basura ends in an A. It is feminine. There's no S there, so it's singular. So feminine and singular, it will be la. And then libros ends in OS. O tells us that it's masculine. We do have an S there, so it is plural. So we look on our list, masculine and plural, los libros, the books. All right, so that's really how it works. And there is a bit of a trick. If you go to your vocabulary list, make sure in Voces that you are in Chapter 2. And then you click on the Lista de Vocabulario, and that will take you here. Now, on the front of these vocabulary words, it actually says el or la. So when in doubt, you can check those out. But you do see that most of your words that end in O are going to be masculine. Most of your words that end in A are going to be feminine. Now to go up here and use our English words and to change those and make them into Spanish, let's try this out. So the chairs. If you don't know the word for the chairs, go back over to your vocabulary list and it will be on here. There it is, la silla. Now notice that's just chair, not chairs. So we are going to have to do a little bit of work here. So the chair is la silla, but we want to make it plural, chairs. So silla ends in a vowel, so we're going to add an S there, sillas. But we also need to take this article la and we need to make it plural as well. So it's going to be las sillas. And then the ruler, if you haven't memorized it yet, go back and look at that vocab list. But the word for ruler is regla. As long as this is a noun that follows the rules, then we know that it's feminine. And it is, it's la regla. The desk, now we have 2 desks. We have a pupitre and an escritorio. A pupitre is more of a desk like what you typically sit in school, like a student desk. An office desk, or like a teacher's desk, is an escritorio. And it does follow the rules. It ends in an O. It is masculine. So masculine and singular, el escritorio. And then the notebooks, if you don't know that word, you'll look it up. You will find the word cuaderno. And it does end in an O. It is masculine. And right now it's singular, el cuaderno. Now that's just the notebook, the one notebook. So we do need to make that plural, notebooks. So cuaderno ends in an O. That's a vowel. So we're going to add an S there, cuadernos. And then we do need to change that singular article to plural. So we're going to change el to los. Los cuadernos. Now we have to be careful with sacapuntas. There is no such word as sacapuntases. That's not a thing. Remove that from your vocabulary. So remember, it's kind of like the English word deer. There's one deer, or you can see two deer, never deers. So same thing with sacapuntas. If you're looking for the pencil sharpener, it will be sacapuntas, and it's just the one pencil sharpener. And the trick with this, it looks feminine and plural, but it's not. So this is a big exception. It is el sacapuntas. But then if you're looking for the pencil sharpeners, plural, we are going to leave it as sacapuntas. Don't change that word, but we will still change that article from el to los. So el sacapuntas means the pencil sharpener. Los sacapuntas means the pencil sharpeners. All right, so let's take a look at some exceptions. So we have several exceptions here that are just words that you're fairly likely to see every once in a while. So this longer list is masculine words. Now they all end in A or AS. They all look feminine. And with exceptions, the bad news is you really just have to memorize them. But it's not a huge list. Just start with a few here and there, and you can grow that list as you go. But because these are masculine, you're always going to use el or los as your article if you're trying to say the. So let's take a look. Aulas ends in an S, so it is plural. Even though it looks feminine, we just have to remember it is masculine. So we're going to go with the plural los here. Clima, again, it looks feminine. It's not. It's masculine. No S, though, so we're going to keep it singular, el clima. Días, you've for sure seen this word before, days. So that is actually masculine. It's el día, but if it's more than one day, it is los días. Poemas ends in an S. We're going to go with the plural, los. Sofá, no S. We're going to go with el. Mapa, it's just the one mapa, so el. And then temas, we're going to make that plural, los. And then we have a couple of feminine words here that look masculine. So with these two words, we will go with la or las. So mano, singular, la mano. And then fotos, that one is plural. We will go with las. Now we do have a few nouns to memorize. El reloj, la luz, la pared, el pupitre, el borrador. With these words, they don't end in an O, they don't end in an A or sion or any of those endings that we've memorized. So the trick with these is just like what you do in English. You know gooses doesn't sound right. You know it should be the word geese. And the only reason you know that is because you have used it. You've said it, you've heard it. Same thing with these words. So el reloj, for example, if you will just use el reloj, say it frequently, el reloj, el reloj, el reloj, el reloj. Eventually, la reloj is not going to sound right. It's not going to feel right when you say it, and you'll just know because you know. All right, we're going to take a look at one more thing before we go. Necesito dos los libros. Take a look at that sentence. Does that look right? Necesito. If you haven't seen that word yet, that means I need. So I need dos los libros. Dos, we know that means two. Los, we just saw, means the. And then libros means books. I need the books. If it doesn't make sense in English, at this point, it probably does not make sense in Spanish. So you're probably looking at this sentence and saying, okay, no, I don't need the books. I either need two books or I need the books. Same deal in Spanish. I either necesito dos libros or I necesito los libros. So we're going to pick one. I'm thinking probably since the word two is in there, I don't need los at this point. Necesito dos libros. I need two books. So there really aren't going to be times when you need a number and a definite article right next to each other in the same sentence. So think about what you're saying in English. See if that passes that test, and then you can determine whether you need that article in your sentence or not. Hasta luego!